And then let me add people that were live. But how are you? How are you?
Doing okay?
You're doing
I
okay?
am at the end of my work. I'm at the end of my work year. That's where I am. I have like a few more hours of like checking stuff, work from home style towards the end of the year. But outside of that, I don't work again until January 6th. Between some holidays and like the built-in break that my facility does. So I'm in a nice little mini sabbatical right now.
I also started my. I also finished my last day of work. Speaking hard. Yesterday.
Nice.
And I also don't have to work until the 6th. I mean, it's pretty nice because because Christmas and New Year is like right in the middle of the week. I can just say, oh, I'm taking the first week of both weeks and have 2 weeks off. Which is what you did as well, right?
Yeah, like because I technically had this Friday and Monday still to work, and the first Friday of January, or the first Thursday of January. I actually technically had that other Friday off already just because of our schedule. So I had to take 3 vacation days, and it turned it from like a week and a half to more like 2.5 weeks with weekends involved.
Nice. Okay, let me set up chat in my phone just in case. I don't think I'm gonna need it. How did I do it? So live. Why is it so hard? There we go. Naruto Sonic says hi, and I say hi to Naruto Sonic.
Hello.
What do you remember from last time?
It has admittedly been a while.
I remember.
So
Go ahead.
Sorry. Okay, I just was testing my voice against yours, just making sure we're not like way out of. You might be a little bit quieter than I am, but other than that. So what I remember is that it started with a rumor, went to the high school. They came out as a group to test the rumor again. In that, bad things happen, connected to a spirit of some sort. A couple of years later, started or completely changed into a woman. I forget if it was implied all the way. I think that's around where we ended.
Yep. Sounds good. That's about what I remember as well. One of them died, I think.
Before the story started.
We've been playing for 13 hours.
What? Wait, what?
It said 13 hours.
Wait, what? Really? Are you sure?
Well, it said 13 something.
Okay. Maybe it was 1 hour?
13 hours.
That would be more...
Yeah. 13 hours.
That feels inaccurate.
So 6 hours, 8 hours, and then 13 hours.
You know.
What is time for but timey-wimey stuff?
Wibbly bobbly timey wimey?
Yeah. Have you seen Doctor Who?
Mm-hmm.
I have not.
My parents met in a Doctor Who club.
Oh, nice. So it's like,
That was back in the day when like you didn't have the digital way to get stuff. So how it worked, if you wanted to watch a show, you would basically go to the club, and the clubs would hand off version like VHSs, and then that they imported, and they would like burn it to new VHSs, and they'd like hand it off to the next club and the next club. And that's how you watch things from like overseas and whatnot.
do bikes have male and female seats?
I didn't think so.
Also, because they're set up in because.
Mm.
Tell me if I'm going too quick.
Ride bike. No, you're fine at the moment. It's only a problem if like I look away to do something, then I'll miss something. But
Wait, why does Aura need to possess his body if he can already like semi-manifest?
I don't know if they explained how that previous conversation played out. It's admittedly too long for me to make any strong judgments on that.
Oh, it's a little bit hard to see.
Seems okay from my perspective. Is it potentially worse just on your monitor?
Maybe. Oh, maybe I have to increase my light value, whatever. Oh.
Interestingly, I switch between my two monitors and it seems very similar. And I have a problem when I've been playing some games lately, where when it gets dark, it's really dark on one of my monitors, but not on the other one. So I don't think it's really dark on them, so it might just be your settings outright.
Yeah, I just increased the light value in my computer and that's it. I had it at like night value because it's just the morning. Did my NP went like from 400 to like 90? I don't know.
Was it? It's been a while. I remember you having the feedback that it felt like the MP wasn't a real concern. Like you weren't making strategic decisions as much as you probably would want to on that basis.
Yeah.
You know, it would be interesting if Aurora had like a rainbow coloration to her name.
Hmm. It.
That's probably a big ask because it would involve changing all of the name tags.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just to change it to any color, right? But I guess no color is a color.
I think it's fine being white. It does admittedly not stand out like the other ones, but did did the friend girl over there also have a distinct color?
I think it's orange.
Okay, then it's probably like per character rather than like per role.
What do you mean per role?
Like player character versus NPC.
Got it, got it.
Sorry, I have Cheez-Its. I might be chewing in a few of my sentences.
Cheese. What kind of cheese?
Cheez-Its.
Oh. What kind of cheese it?
Reduced fat. The beautiful taste of reduced fat.
Interesting.
It's like 20% less calories.
I like the white cheddar, I think it is.
I like the normal. If I'm not getting reduced fat, I'd get the normal one. Just assume if I like something, 99% of the time, it's the basic version of it.
Do you also like the basic potato chips?
Yep. Lay's usually. I like some of the crumpled ones or ripple ones or what are they called? Wavy. That's more of a texture thing than a taste thing, though.
What other things? Do you eat yogurt? Yogurt.
Not really, no.
What other things with flavor are there?
Chocolate's my favorite ice cream. I like plain hot dogs, and particularly I don't really care for hot dogs that are like high quality enough you can like them plain. Hamburgers I don't like with cheese, but I do like it with ketchup or pickles and lettuce. So those aren't, that's not as vanilla as you can get, but just minus cheese.
No cheeseburger. You cannot have a cheeseburger.
I don't care for cheeseburger. In fact, I get sort of annoyed when I order a hamburger and they ask if I want cheese on it. No, I said a hamburger.
I like cheese. I like cheese in everything and I like lime on everything.
I like cheese. I like certain varieties of cheeses, but I don't think it goes well with everything.
I like cheese with lime juice.
Like, my favorite pizza is going to be cheese because I like the cheese pizza. I like the cheese in pizza, for pizza.
Well, the four pizza is not exactly vanilla. Well, not exactly plain. I would actually say...
What?
Like, four cheeses? Four cheese is not like a cheese pizza. It's not like cheese, tomato, bread.
You're saying 4 cheese pizza?
Yes.
Or like 5 cheese pizza? Those sort of varieties?
Yeah.
I mean, the variance between 4 cheese, 5 cheese, and just mozzarella is similar. Well, it's similar to like the variety you get from like different just brands of pizza at that point. So I sort of see it like that. It's not like, because pepperoni is such a distinct taste, for example. in comparison to just like more types of cheese in it.
I would say margarita is the closest thing to plain pizza.
Margarita?
Yeah,
We just put mozzarella on it.
correct.
Mozzarella, little cheddar. That's not. I'm confused where the margarita comes from.
The margarita is just cheese, tomato, and bread.
But it has like a weird extra stuff on it. I've tried margarita pizza. I don't like that. That doesn't taste like cheese pizza. It's like
I mean, it
weirdly
has like
sweet.
basil and tomato slices, but
But yeah, no, a basic pizza would be just the bread, sauce, and mozzarella, maybe some cheddar. Whenever I've tried margarita, maybe it was just the brand I've tried, but it tasted very weirdly sweet. It did not taste cheesy, or not nearly as cheesy as I would expect. Also, I've been paying attention to it, but not as much as I probably should have. It's sort of funny talking about this as they're investigating dead bodies.
it's our coping mechanism. Instead of focusing on dead people, we focus on pizza.
The plainest pizza is virgin pizza. I'm not sure I recognize what a virgin pizza would be.
Do you know what a white pizza is? Like just cheese and bread? No tomato sauce?
Well, that's basic. Yeah, I like that too. That's like a mozzarella stick at that point, or a Bosco stick.
That's a lot of
Like
people.
my favorite food. Oh wow, yeah. At least I found them. My favorite food back in high school, the high school cafeteria I went to. Ironically, it sort of fits the topic of this game. Oh, that'll start. And you get her in the combat too. Is she an actual proper warrior, or
It has similar
She has
stats.
yeah? What if you click on her? Do you get the same? You got like yeah, that's very similar stats.
Yeah.
Okay. Corona Light. Did she get a connection at some point? Did I like actually miss that?
We all did. It happened off screen. She ran ahead,
Okay.
got her persona,
And then
and then we appeared.
oh, okay. That might have been a bit abrupt that I could look away and just entirely miss that for like 20 seconds.
I mean, that literally just happened. Like, I said there were a lot of people, and she said like, "Oh, don't worry, I can
saw the
take care of
alarm.
myself. I made a friend."
I would, if I were doing this scene, I would have you step in and see the process of her getting that and then start the fight. Rather than being like, oh, I just got this. A little bit of just like dramatic scene that you just walk into, that sort of thing. Sorry, what was the thought I didn't finish? In high school, in the cafeteria, appropriate for this game to talk about, my favorite food was literally Bosco Sticks, which is a brand of, like, bread with cheese in it. But there's a way that they prepared it. They put, like, some extra seasoning on top of it, and they cooked it just, like, in the right way, where it's like, wow, that tastes just as good as it can taste, I think. I'm sure it counts as my vegetable in some way, too.
I still find it amusing what the what the American school system counts as vegetable versus no vegetable.
The power of lobbying.
It's like a pizza is a vegetable. Okay. Technically, vegetable doesn't exist. Well, even worse then. It's like pizza is a fruit.
Interesting. That is the implication of that.
Technically, what? There is either fruit or plant, I think, something like that. Something like broccoli or lettuce is not the fruit. It's just like the plant itself.
Oh, vegetables, or there's something else, like it's roots or something like that. There's some category of food that like boiled down to it being a root.
Oh yeah, it's tuber? Because legumes are like grains and such. Legumes.
Root vegetable. Root vegetable is what Wikipedia calls it.
Like carrots and potatoes.
Corns, rhizomes, yam, turnips.
Root,
So
grass, flower, grains.
there's so many options here.
And fruit.
I got it from looking up carrots. Roots, grass, flowers, grains, and so on. Yeah, that's fair. Vegetables is sort of a generic combination of a lot of. Didn't I see that Jordan's spirit?
That is what I remember. But maybe
I
he's
vaguely
just.
remember seeing that.
But maybe he's just
Like
a
he could
possessed
have been
body.
moved, I guess. Yeah, it could. That is true. He could just be possessed, and he could be out there basically being used and lost 2 years of his life.
Yep. I mean, we were dealing with ghosts before. I don't see how a different creature is, like, out of the possibility. Superb. I have to confess, I never got very far in Thread, as the start just feels like a book pressed in an engine not designed for books.
Yeah, I think that was one of the. I actually don't think the storytelling was all that bad, but I do think the macro level pacing was probably not ideal. If I remember correctly, what my feedback was last time.
My feedback. Too wordy. No fighting.
Micro level pacing I thought was pretty good in terms of how each individual scene was written, in terms of pacing out the scene itself within itself, but how the actual scenes were structured together in order to create an overall user experience. I thought they were a bit too samey up against each other, and they didn't provide enough time to breathe. Whether that's go do a puzzle, go do combat, go explore, that sort of stuff.
I have not.
Lexicron. I don't know if you have a different name in Discord or if you are on the Discord, but have you played my game Between? Because I actually do compare the stylistic, like writing style a bit to mine in a number of ways.
Do you feel?
And I know my stuff's not perfect.
Do you feel Oathbreaker is less texty than Between, or more texty?
I think it's more blocky, in that sense.
Like, here's the game. Here's the.
Oh, I did not realize you were Shiketsu. Hello, Shiketsu. Yeah, I know you've been waiting for like chapters to end to go to a big run of Between. Okay, I know your experience of the game a bit more. I don't know if you've played Oathbreaker though. In my opinion, Oathbreaker versus Between, I think Oathbreaker tends to be more blocky on the macro level scale, macro level sort of like pacing, where there isn't as many opportunities to like stop and have you go do something, stop and have you do a fight. You can't do something like what I've been doing in a dungeon-like area that I've been doing for the next update of Between, where they talk about something, then you go dungeoneer to another section, they talk about something, go dungeoneer to another section, they talk about something. You can't really do that nearly as much. So it tends to be much bigger chunks of gameplay or story and that sort of stuff. I've not played Oathbreaker, says Shiketsu. Okay, that's fine.
My dog just came scratching the door, look at me, and run away.
Well, if you looked, then they got what they wanted.
Like, pay attention to me. Hello, bye-bye.
Yeah, pay attention to me. Okay, great. I got it. You got what I wanted. Thank you. And then off to do another thing.
I feel one game that would be interesting to see for you specifically would be either NTR1 or NTR2. Netotaria Tactics Revolution?
That would not be a Twitch game.
Netoria. It's just an acronym. It's just an acronym, but it's not a Twitch game, no.
I know what you're talking about. That would be we record it without doing a live stream and things gets censored, and then maybe if it gets censored enough, you put it up on like YouTube.
I mean, I think it is possible to play specifically Netotaria. Like, if you do not touch anyone, like if they do not, if they're not in the hex next to each other, then I think is safe for work enough. I think. Especially like the first like 5 or 10 chapters of Netotaria 1.
Sorry, quick note, because I just got a ping from the creator of this game, who's been on my Discord more recently. They had asked yesterday, when we were doing the stream, I explained that it was that, and apparently they need to catch a plane at the moment, so they won't be able to watch this, but they will watch the VOD later.
Got it. Hello. What's the name of the author?
Be Kind Rewind. I don't know. I don't recall if there's another name that they typically go by, but their username on my Discord is Be Kind Rewind.
Hi, Be Kind.
Yeah, hello.
Is it Rewind or Rewind?
If you want a... Probably Rewinds. That's a good point. But yeah, be kind if you want a timestamp. This is just shortly after you sent that message saying that you had a plane to catch.
It's currently like 30 minutes after the start of the stream.
Give or take, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of the game again.
Thread.
Notoria.
Oh.
So what do you think would be interesting with regards to that?
How they handle pacing. Like, for them, they do not use a menu-based structure for the supports. They use a map-based thing.
So like the talk events, but it becomes a support?
Correct.
Is it actually like a mid-battle sort of thing?
They have that. Kinda. Well, instead of that, they use the touching.
Something else?
It's something else. It's between chapters, like in between battles. In between
but
battles,
it uses the map like, so it uses the map more akin to like a menu.
Correct. And like, go here and talk to this. Go here and talk to that. Go here and interact with this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably not horrible.
I think they mentioned Apollo mentioned that the game's heavily modded, so that might be one of the mods.
It doesn't seem like that would be too difficult to do. I guess maybe the progression of talk events would probably be the biggest issue.
It's per chapter. I think it's pretty much if you didn't talk to them on that chapter, that talk just gets skipped.
Right, but like if you talk to someone, then talk to someone else, and talk to someone else, do you know of a way to make talk events not show up until a variable's been increased?
I know how to do it, yes, but it would get more than anything tedious.
Okay, then that probably wouldn't be too difficult. It would probably get tedious, yeah. One of the reasons I think we do it in the way that we do, is because it's much more visual novel driven or stylized. It's also much easier for me to write a script that just then goes into that visual novel style.
Right, yeah.
Than trying to write out all the variables in that regard. But who knows? We'll probably experiment with more stuff in the future in terms of us collaborating, so maybe we'll find a good way to do non-visual novel style storytelling.
What do you think of the tile size compared to the protagonist?
We talked about it a bit before. It's the outlines that are probably more the issue, right?
Like, right now is the size what I'm looking at.
Well, I mean, admittedly, yeah, they're probably short relative to the actual structure of this place.
Look at this, she's tiny. Like, to watch her hands, like, she would have to, like, crawl over. And just, like, wash her hands without even looking.
Yep. Yeah, no, I get where you're going with on that. I was about to say, it almost looks like pixel level, but yeah, shirtless.
Well, it's just a skin-based t-shirt. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure. Very baggy skin-based t-shirt.
It is kind of happening what you think's happening.
Yeah. I don't think we've actually had to worry about that up to this point in this one.
Hey, and the very least it's less graphic than the other one.
Oh, that was just so random, and it was like the one time, too. And we kept worrying about it coming up again throughout.
There we go. He was just examining his skin.
Yeah. Still going with the
skin color
so that
t-shirt.
is that's an interesting narrative touch that communicates some details. I get is really what I was more saying there.
Right. I mean, I understand the first day you might be freaked out on what the fuck just happened, but the second day is like, huh. Like, but what if? Where are you gonna shower? You don't have a shower. Oh shit. I have freedom! Oh no, I don't know what to do with freedom. I'm almost sure there's... I mean, it shouldn't. Like, if all the doors are locked, there shouldn't be a door that's not unlocked. Ooh, he's on the other side of the showers. That's impractical.
I do remember back in college, I forgot that in the dorms you had to go to the communal shower. It's been such a long time that I've had to share a shower.
Okay, I think that answers our question if he was 100% female or not.
I looked away. What was the answer?
The answer is yes, he's 100% female.
Gotcha.
Because Sarah said, oh, just use the female washroom. And he was like, well, I can't. I'm a man. Like, well, you're physically 100% female, right? Like, yeah. You know what? Here, have the image.
Just in case? Sure.
They're in the washroom. They're gonna bathe.
I thought you were gonna say they're gonna bang.
I mean...
They gonna bang. They gonna bang. They gonna bang. Just because she's in love with the person that's missing doesn't mean that you can't have a good old waka waka woo scene. How to self-censored. How to self-censor yourself 101. The fact that I'm hearing a shower. Ooh.
I mean, on the very least, it turned to black.
Icarue.
Yeah.
Icarue. This is where you make, in the background, without saying anything, you just make a... Is that coming across? Is that not coming across?
Very little.
A little slappy slap sound. And just pretend it's part of the actual game sound effects.
I could. The problem is one of my hands is in the mouse. Well, that's a very unfortunate time. How do I show this?
Do you want to explain?
There are shades in the bathroom, and she's naked.
There are shades. Oh, a battle scene.
Yes, there are enemies in the bathroom.
Maybe this is why Be Kind was like excited to watch this one. It was like, oh, what's gonna happen here?
Shook says, personally, I wonder how I would react to getting suddenly transformed into a girl. My foremost reaction would likely be annoyed to have to buy new wardrobe.
Oh yeah, like very few of these go over like the practical implications of it, right?
I think
one of the one of the things I did in between was sort of skirt over the like annoying elements of just like body maintenance that would come with completely like changing the needs of your body maintenance to another one to make it so that, oh, clothes, well, that's just manifested by the will. Oh, body hair, well, we'll just get rid of that via just like a TF.
Right, I think I did something very similar, especially in PW, where it was just like, well, you have a skirt now, congratulations. Oh, there's a battle scene, and she's naked.
That should be the battle music.
You just have to trust that I'm doing the correct decisions.
In terms of the fight?
Yeah.
Well, you've been the only one doing the gameplay up to this point, so. I do hear the UI sounds that imply a battle going on.
The only thing that matters is I got the first strike. And that guy's ranged. Okay.
Thanks for getting that. I will make an observation that I've had just over time on macro scale pacing. One thing I've noticed, just as I've had less and less time to be patient with something, the more and more I've stopped caring about visual novels. I used to really like visual novels. Nowadays, I'm just so past that. Like, I probably could enjoy them, but I just don't have the time or patience, or like there's so many other things I could be doing that I have a draw to do, that visual novels are just so difficult to get a momentum to actually enjoying. And the only thing that really comes to mind as to why that is different then than now is just the macro scale pacing in visual novels tends to be pretty poor because it's very similar throughout the entirety of the experience. It's not using the tools video games provide to it to do various stuff. That's why stuff like Danganronpa or Ace Attorney tend to be much better in terms of like visual novel type stuff.
Technically Fire Emblem as well.
And there's also the fact that some visual novels are like 90 hours long and there's nothing more than the visual novel part of it to it. And it's just like that is quite a commitment at this point. I'm not the sort to say like visual novels aren't games, by the way. Oh, cool.
Welcome back.
Too many VNs are books trying to pretend to be games. I don't really see it that way, partly because I just see the entirety of it being user experiences. Like, I see a book being a user experience, I see a visual novel being a user experience, I see a video game being a user experience. Obviously, if you have a certain expectation for what a game is, and you enter expecting Mario and you get Chaos Child or something, your expectations will be defied. But I think the same rules of pacing and using your tools to your advantage apply still.
Yeah.
I think they still apply in the same way to a book as you would to a game, really. Obviously, the tools are different, and visual novels are sort of in between.
Yeah, for me, I wouldn't consider Danganronpa or Ace Attorney something pure visual novel, but a game with visual novel elements. Because there is gameplay, there is think, there is failure. I fail so much in Danganronpa.
Technical level, making choices for branching story alone is technically gameplay. It's hyper minimalistic in the gameplay elements. Yes, in the same way I'd say Mario has a hyper minimalistic story. But I still would call it a game on that basis.
Right.
But it's also obviously such a blurred boundary of what's what, to a point that trying to cordon things off into specific baskets just feels pointless, which, especially as a creator, it's just more useful to... They're all user experiences. And you have different tools available to you to do different things based on what engine you're making it in, whether that's pen and paper or RPG Maker, right?
Yeah. Should I summarize?
If you, as a creator... Sorry, just to finish the thought, if you, as a creator, approach a... if you approach it to make it specifically a visual novel or a game or stuff like that, then you will cordon off your flexibility and potential ideas or different ways to make it a more interesting game or just experience. The flexibility to make something novel and interesting and the ideal version of what you want to make will be more limited than it would have been otherwise if you approach it by trying to basket things off so distinctly.
Mm-hmm. With that being said, though, I think the pacing slightly... I think the pace is better this string than the last one.
Because there's more battles?
And a little bit more freedom. I could explore the room more, I could explore the hallway more.
That's fair. It gives you... I said it before, and to just double back on the foundation of why I think pacing is important, is the idea that you feel acceleration, you don't feel velocity. You could be going a million times, a million words, a million gameplay progression units a minute, but if it's the same sort of thing that you're doing over and over again, it's going to feel the same.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Which is why going to battles, going to walking around, going to exploring the room, going to cutscenes and stuff like that, those are tools in order to pace things off. And I think, if I remember correctly from the last time, I thought the micro-scale pacing, where you have stuff within the scene, this person talks, something switches up, someone moves around, you switch to narration, stuff like that. That's also part of that acceleration velocity distinction. You don't have any one person talking for too long. You don't have walls of text where you're just reading beyond what you can sort of glance and pick up really quickly. There's ways to just keep the pace moving, basically.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Even in more calm scenes, right?
Right. Should I summarize?
And I think it's done a good job on that. Sorry, I think it's done a good job on that. The macro scale thing was still, I think, the problem from last time, which, as you said, we think it's doing a better job of at this in this section.
I still wonder how much of the school section is gonna be relevant. Specifically the teacher. There was a lot of focus on the teacher.
I took it as setting up the world and the feeling and the tone.
What if I spoiled myself and the teacher's the bad guy?
That said, yeah, there is that whole Chekhov's gun concept, where if you introduce something and you give it some semblance of emphasis, if it's not important later, then it's a balance, setting up atmospheres, etc., etc. But yeah, no. I was surprised that it jumped forward a couple of years, because I did actually expect it to be sort of like a end of high school, sort of that tone all the way through based on how it was being set up. I remember being surprised by it last time when it jumped forward. Like, I blinked my eyes and you passed by it jumping forward a couple of years, like, wait, what? It did that?
It does have a... I don't know what problem, but things like, oh, this suddenly happened. Like, oh, suddenly jumped
On
2
occasion.
years. And suddenly, oh, I got a persona.
Yeah, it does seem like there's been a few of those moments where certain developments have been undercooked.
I will accept the, oh, suddenly I'm a girl. That's the only exception.
That had a lot of that had a lot of post-development to it, I guess.
Still do. Speaking of, the scene I closed off was her exploring her body. But more in a mental sort of way, like, oh, this is my body kind of thing, rather than anything physical. And then bad guys just happened to appear. And one of them was a mage that took many hits to kill, and I was almost dead.
Fair enough.
P.S.
Probably
A saving
good
point
to
would be
continue moving
useful.
forward.
You can see the game though, right?
Oh yeah, no, I can see the game. I've been able to see the game for a while. One thing I've noticed is in the narration. You can keep going. I just have a thought that I was expressing. Yeah, it's switching between Luke and Lucas in terms of consistency within how the narration is referring to the protagonist.
Right.
That's the typo.
In the eats, right?
Yeah, the T.
Maybe because the easiest way to turn Lucas into a female name is Lucy, and Luke is the most common part of both.
Potentially. So the thought process I have is specifically in the narration. Like, one thing I go out of my way to do in the narrated elements of Between is Penny and Cal. I always refer to them as Callum and Penelope. Full names and that sort of stuff. I try to keep the narration the formal, like, it's a formal narrator who is treating these like they're in a book or something like that. A very consistent tone of a voice for the narrator. And yes, the main thing I was pointing out, because it had Luke at the earlier part of that Fade to Black scene and Lucas in the later part. So I noticed some inconsistency on what it was. So if you're going to do one or the other, basically, just consistency, right?
Right. this?
So what are the choices here? Surfer dude, skater, groove. They don't have heads. Ooh,
I
are we
mean,
gonna
some
lose our
mannequins
heads if
don't
we
have
get that one?
heads.
But maybe that's part of the style.
Cuddlies. Cuddlies?
Okay, just looking through the option. I mean, that looks like Codley's familiar and basic. Hoodies, beanies, basic shirts.
So, some like
And this is a fun way to make
neutral
a.
tomboy
This is a fun way to make a choice. Was there an option at the very beginning, or is it just these three?
wedding dresses.
Ooh.
Let's see if they
Wedding
give us the
dresses.
option again.
If she's paying for it, who cares? It's
So
thousands
mostly
of dollars. You
dresses
got
and
that
girly
ready for
stuff.
if you ever need it. They even have wedding dresses. I'm just saying, wedding dresses are expensive, and she's offering to pay for it.
You're like, I'll make you regret your choice, and then I'll make you regret yours.
I've agreed to let you buy my first female outfit. It will be a wedding dress, and it will be the most expensive one in the store.
I'm between.
What was the last one in terms of? Because it looks surfer, and I'm not really sure what that is. That like just like masculine
Sportswear.
sportswear?
I imagine some like hoodies,
Which also-
pants.
Well, for girls, that would probably be more skin tight. I think the middle one is the hoodies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm between this one.
Or we can just talk about what our
And this
what our
one.
expectations are based on what we're seeing and talking about. And that way, Be Kind can have some understanding of how this is actually reading towards someone who's not played it before.
My expectation for this.
So it's sporty, basic, preppy, girly. Do you have any preference?
Yeah, I would say if we wanna keep in character, this might be a bit much. Like dresses might be a bit
Do you
much.
wanna roll a dice? See what it lands on?
I would say heads or tail. I'm actually leaning towards this one just to see what the hell.
So heads or tails between those two. Okay, I can flip a coin.
Between group
Heads for the
and...
first one, tails for the second one?
What if we just choose this one?
Yeah? Okay. The ultimate way to get someone to make a decision on what they want. Actually place the opportunity to not get it.
How about you?
If you made your decision, go with it. You made your decision, go with it. Your first female outfit shall be a swimsuit. It will be the only thing you'll have to wear until your first paycheck comes in.
I'm just wondering if I need to.
Oh, I'm noticing a classic issue that some RPG Maker devs run into. You notice how Sarah there is like in the walking stance?
Oh yes.
You've been experienced with it long enough. You know how to avoid that, right?
Choose the middle option.
So the issue this comes up when instead of like switching pages in order to go to a new image, you like tell the image to change from no image to having an image. So presumably what happened here was there was an event in front of the dressing room, or in front of some of the things out there in front. And what Be Kind did was tell like a move event to change the image to this other one. And because it had nothing before, it's on the top. It selects the top corner by like default, and even if you change the like direction they're facing in, it still like defaults to not the standing for some reason.
I don't think I have ever
like the
experienced
ideal.
that.
Yeah, so the ideal way to do this is to, instead of changing the graph, is to either set something up so it already has a graphic that it changes from that's in the like set to the middle already, rather than nothing. Which could be, and I think I have done it before, it can just be a blank one that has nothing in it, literally. Or you change pages to basically increase the variable, go to another page with a different graphic. And that one there has it selected towards the middle, so it's the not stepping part of the animation.
Got it. What I do is to have the characters like outside the map, and just like bring them and move them as I want.
Yeah, okay. That would require a big map to do that.
Yeah.
Reliably.
For OUR, there were like 20 people. Well, OU PW, there were like 20 people along the border. There were a lot of
That's
characters.
Fun. That's a very traditional gameplay, game dev method of doing, isn't it? Like keeping, especially in like 3D games, right? Where they keep them like below the map and then bring them up for cutscenes and whatnot.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I ran into that some when I was like first starting, and it really bothered me. So I went through it pretty in depth to try to figure out why it was happening, figure out ways to avoid that.
Ah, we're right. It is skin tight.
Sportswears for girls are very skin tight.
Is Luca a female name?
I think it's unisex. Ironically, I have a coworker who started recently who's named Luca. He's a guy.
Is he from the US?
Yeah. It's not a typical American name, but you also have Luca the movie, I think, from Pixar, where the main character was a guy.
That's why I asked.
It's Italian. I think.
Oh, I thought it was.
Yeah, it's Italian, I think. The Disney, the Pixar one, was Italian, if I remember correctly.
Oh. I mean, Greece and Italy almost look the same.
They've got some. They've got some overlap.
Don't let the Kuroko hear me.
Oh, that's a dangerous proposition. I didn't even think about that one. I wonder what the Greek and the Italians actually think about that comparison.
Also,
well,
see
interesting how the because you expect this to be happening. I thought you were actually heading off.
Nope.
I must confess, I have no idea how brawl sizes works, Shigetsu. I've looked it up a little bit. I think I've learned a bit more from when I originally had to look it up for like writing stuff. But for all intents and purposes, what it is like, it's a number and then a letter. And what it is that the numbers basically the band size, which is the size to go around your torso, which is, I think it might be technically a little different than that, than the actual direct measurement. There's some silliness in there. And then the actual letter is how much the booba comes out from the torso. So it's not like literally the size of the boobs, but it's the size of the boobs relative to the size of the person. So like each cup, A, B, C, D, is more how far it like extends out from the body and the shape of it, basically. Oh no, Pixel. I saw it. No, you're gonna get demonetized.
The thing is, you were talking about that while they're literally showing it. So I was thinking like, oh, maybe...
Like they're talking about the exact same thing?
Yeah. So maybe I can show it.
You should get an additional version of a sensor like this that specifically just cuts out where like a typical RPG Maker text box would be.
Yeah, that's a good idea, yeah. Lucas is 34DD.
Did I get it?
Double D.
That's fun. But yeah, like C, D, all those sort of cups, it may make it seem bigger than it actually is because it's a relative size and shape and etc.
Yeah. The bigger the band, the bigger the cup. Like in volume.
Yeah.
Like if you have like 30 centimeters band, you have like X volume. And if you have a 60 centimeter band, you have like 2x volume, but the cup might be different. Like even if you have the same volume across both bands, the smaller band will be a higher cup, and the smaller band would be a lower cup.
That is, as per my limited understanding, I believe that's entirely correct. And that sounded like a promising thing with the... Or did someone else go in?
The cashier went out.
Sarah? Oh, okay. Gotcha. I was imagining a joke where all three were in and it was super claustrophobic inside. It's like, oh, I'll help you, I'll help you, I'll help you.
I'm surprised it's not a sports bra.
Sorry?
I'm surprised it's not a sports bra. It looked like a normal bra. But I guess fair. It would be kind of hard to make like...
Is it a pixel level measurement? Sorry, is it a pixel level bra that you're looking at, or is there actual artwork?
It's a pixel level.
Okay. So it might be a sports bra.
There we go. Welcome back. I mean, they didn't mention it's a sports bra.
I assume the scene might be a little homogenized between the 3 or 4 various options.
Yeah.
I was also surprised the cashier has a name.
Maybe she will be important. Or maybe they just
she doesn't have a portrait.
Read the name tag.
Fair. It's one of those things where it's like information that you might actually say just don't introduce because it's like superfluous to the point where even if she does have a name, you don't really need it for the story, and giving it might just end up being a bit confusing to those involved. in the same way we're talking about like the high school thing, where if you set something up and nothing pays off on it, and you're sort of waiting for it to pay off, or you're introducing information that distracts away from the main thing you're trying to communicate as a writer.
Right. What if you introduce the name?
Like all these things.
Go ahead.
Like all these things. Sorry, all these things are incredibly hard to do, right? To like to do perfectly and just get right on exactly how you need to do. But it's more the constant acknowledgement of this is sort of the ideal that I'm striving towards, with the acknowledgement that I'm definitely not going to be able to achieve it. You'll at least get as close as you can and be able to refine it, especially as you take in feedback and understand. Try to parse through when people say, I dislike this thing. You'll be able to better understand really what like the problem is in getting your vision across to their experience. Someone showed up.
Oh, is the guy that's supposed to be dead?
Oh, yeah. Thought it might be that.
What if they introduce
Like
the
with,
name of
Shiketsu's...
the... Go ahead.
Sorry, just to completely finish the previous thought. Like how Shiketsu said that it felt like a book that wasn't supposed to be a game at the beginning and stuff like that. Like that purely on its own is a conclusion that I'm not going to say is wrong or right or anything like that, but it's not processed through the intention of the game and whatnot. So often when you get feedback, the important thing is being able to try to break down the user experience of why someone had a negative or positive experience, and being able to interpret the nature of why that happened through your design intent. And things like understanding pacing and understanding how you're introducing information and stuff like that helps you sort of understand where the underlying problems that create a negative or positive experience actually like come from. So you're able to see someone, hey, I had this problem, and you're able to, instead of just I disagree with you, you're able to analyze it in a way that allows you to be like, oh, okay, I could probably refine my work in this way to improve it, to better actually get my vision for this experience across.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that makes sense.
I think it did. What would you think if they would have given the cashier a name, but the name tag wouldn't change to whatever name it was, but just cashier? Like, hi, my name is Lucy, I'm gonna help you, but the name tag doesn't change to anything other than cashier.
I probably would have done that, yeah. Now, I probably would have just had them say, hello, welcome to, instead of introducing themselves in the first place, but...
Like, I can see it if they wanna feel amicable. Like, hey, I understand this is your first time, I'm just gonna help you. I don't fight. Bless you.
Did something happen?
Oh, I thought you sneezed.
I did not.
It's the game.
Oh, did someone in the game sneeze?
Yeah, the protagonist sneezed.
Oh.
And I thought it was you moving away from the mic and sneezing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I didn't have any. I would cough because my throat's screwed up, but yeah.
Wait, you sneeze instead of coughing? Sorry, you cough instead of sneezing?
I don't sneeze very often at all. Yeah.
I think it was Goblin Slayer that did the height of not giving character names.
Oh, the series that kills off half the characters that show up in it? Yeah, that would probably make sense.
Like, they only kill the first batch of characters. They don't kill the second batch of characters.
Do any of them have names?
No. It's Elf, Dwarf, Shaman, Priestess, Goblin Slayer. Goblin Slayer is the closest thing to having a name.
Did any of the characters? So none of the, like, not even the main party got names in that?
Nope. I repeat. Elf, Dwarf, Shaman, Priestess, Goblin Slayer.
Okay.
I
That's
think
actually,
even
I read a decent chunk of that, but I did not actually remember. I didn't remember that.
I think it's even like not even people that are not in the party. It's like receptionist, saint, things like that. I forgot if the newbies had a name. I think it was just mage. And the rat killers. I think the rat. That's another
Sorry.
name.
Sorry, I'll be right back.
Correct. Should I pause the stream, or should I continue?
I already sort of walked away, but continue.
Okay. Let's continue then. Oxycron/Shuketsu. Do you remember if the wizard boy in season 2 had a name? Or is it just wizard boy? Another battle. Oh. I don't think anyone had a name, but would need to search to be fully certain.
Okay, I'm back. So,
Hello.
did they find anything? Okay, I'm gonna go through my guess as to where Jordan disappeared to. Either he was hiding as the mannequin that was sort of just like in the garbage. There was a portal, another world in the dumpster, or he jumped on the roof.
None of the above.
Ooh, what happened then?
So what was at the end of the hallway was a closed-up store, and that store was the nest of a creature.
Oh, okay.
Remember the
Like
cocoon?
the cocoon thing that they saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cocoon thing from before.
And Lucas convinced Sarah to like back off and return when we are like more powerful.
So Persona.
Yes, we have a deadline. At the end of the deadline, we have to complete the palace. No,
I mean, keep in mind, there's a day tracker up in the corner.
there is a day tracker up in the corner. With day and such. So, I mean, it might turn into a Persona like.
I assume it's day versus night versus morning, that sort of thing.
Probably. The good thing about university, especially big classes, is they probably don't care. Like, you just go and take notes and present yourself, and you just have until like the final exam. until you need to present an ID.
Oh, in terms of like, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, I don't remember any time that like attendance was taken or anything like that.
Shook asks, do you prefer abstract time systems or clock in games? For me, it depends. Like,
I guess is the distinction there like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock versus like morning, day, night?
oh, in that case, I prefer
Or is
morning,
there
day, and
different-
night.
I guess it depends what you mean by each.
Transitioning was not that common in the early 2000s, right?
What was?
Transitioning, like sex transitioning?
Oh, I mean, it's been a thing for a long time, but I don't think it was like part of the larger cultural awareness until like the past decade or so. But like people transition back, I want to say I've heard of stuff back to the 80s and stuff. So it's not like it's that new of a concept. It just hasn't really, I'd be getting into political stuff at that point. As to why it's got so much attention on it in recent times.
Let's move topics then. Let's worry about killing the spider thingy.
I'm not. Is it actually a spider? Or is it just a thing, a cocoon?
It's just a cocoon.
Ooh.
Like, there are two things. It's either... because it could be not a cocoon, it could be like an egg. Like, that looks very close to a spider egg or a mantis egg. Or it could be a cocoon.
Well, technically, in order to have a cocoon, all it needs to do is be capable of forming the material around it. Which, obviously, spiders, butterflies...
No, I think spiders shed, right?
And stuff like that. Spiders have their webbing as an option to make a cocoon, not necessarily that it is a spider.
Right. Butterfly moths, I think, also do cocoons.
I will say this conversation is reminding me a lot of Persona 4. Are we gonna go Junes? Every day's great at your Junes. I haven't played that game since like freshman year of college. It was a decade ago now. I'm old!
Did you not play the, is it remastered version or just, like, a re-release in Steam?
I played it on Vita for Persona 4 Golden when it originally came out on that.
I've always been a big city boy, so I do kind of understand the weirdness of... It's kind of sad that the best thing the town has is a shopping center. Not even a shopping center, it's a Costco.
Is a Walmart.
Right?
No, I get that.
Oh,
I
we're
grew up in
ended.
the suburbs, so I know what it's like to have a lot more around. Oh, there we go. So, Be Kind did mention that a V1.4 was on the precipice of releasing or had released recently and had some more content, but also broke saves. So,
Oh.
if we next time we play this again, we'll have to work our way back up here,
I mean,
either before or after.
it's not that bad, especially if I do it myself. I can just like click, 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 fight, 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 click, 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 click.
Yeah, especially if it has a fast forward. Also, Be Kind. Here's a suggestion: make sure you have a way to fast forward through scenes and whatnot, because as much as it's like, yeah, we want to have people play the scenes and whatnot, it's very important to people who need to get back up to certain points, right? Because of the nature of us making games in very segmented releases also means that we have what's the way to phrase it, people have to replay it a lot, or can replay it or not, or it'll be released over a time period where people feel motivated to replay it multiple times. So it's good to have those options. But okay, do you want to go do the other thing then? I guess we should talk about the general thoughts on this. If you break the saves after 15 hours of gameplay, it might discourage players. We are not at 15 hours. How long did it say? What's the current save amount?
22 hours.
So we went from 18 something to 22.
I don't know how it's tracking time.
23 to 23 to 23. Yeah, over the course of 1.5 hours. Yeah, no, that's broken. I don't know what's tracking that, but that is broken.
I mean, 3.5 hours of game time. Well, asterisk. I would say half it. It's still 1 hour of content.
I will also make the general recommendation to, if you're going to break saves, do it early, or do it in a big batch of like game breaking, save breaking content. Do it all at once if you're going to do that. Because the one time that I broke saves was when I just revamped the gameplay entirely, and I could not retain the previous saves because things would just die. There would be too many contradictions in what you have and how things work and stuff like that. Technically, you load up the saves, but yeah. And I'll probably only do it one, maybe two more times, at least one more time for presumably the final release, as I probably clean stuff up for a final 1.0 release, and also for maybe another big overhaul of just some of the systems and whatnot I might do at a point, once I feel like I'm at a point I can. That and art and et cetera, et cetera.
I break systems. I break saves accidentally.
Yeah, you want to avoid that. Basically, don't touch plugins very often, unless you're willing to break a save at that point.
Yep. Or change the battle system.
But I think my general thoughts on the game has been very similar to what it's been as I've been talking through. I think it's improved on the macro scale pacing. I think the micro scale pacing in general has been pretty good throughout, very much in the vein of like how I write and stuff. So I agree with the approach on a lot of that sort of stuff. I think it definitely feels like it's going into a very Persona-esque development, which honestly I was not expecting it to build up to, but I guess I should have based on the Sunday evening thing up there. But overall, I think for a start of the game, I think it's pretty good. I think so long as someone is willing to be patient with the initial start and in the way that it may defy their expectations by being much more narrative focused, I think it develops into a pretty good start, pretty good foundation to move forward with. I think there's definitely some refinements you can do to fix up some stuff. I'd have to really think about what specifically to do if I were to make suggestions on that front. But overall, I say good. and with a lot of opportunity and potential to get a lot better.
As for my...
With very little commentary on the gameplay, because I haven't seen a lot of the recent gameplay, even.
One of them was naked fighting, so... Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a pretty good call to do a fight like that in a genre like this.
For me... the pacing definitely felt better this past hour and a half. Gameplay wise, they're very interesting maps. Even if they're like really small, like in the forest scene, since you start with a separate group, like trying to reunite them so they don't get flanked. It's an interesting puzzle. And then the naked fighting, the map was interesting because there was a lot of cover. Yay. As for suggestions, I think it's still a little bit early to say. The MP is generally lowered, which I liked, or I might not have remembered much about the MP. The interesting part of fights back to back don't replenish your health. That is interesting, although I would like to know how many if there are gonna be a lot of fights back to back, because then I would have to rationalize my NP and HP. Other than that, I like the characters. I like how it feels natural, in the sense of, oh, I'm a girl, I'm gonna like do all this stuff and like just admit I'm a girl, whatever. But it feels more natural, even if the character might be an egg or not. Like, if they are an egg or might not be an egg, it's up to interpretation of both. But I feel that is more natural in the sense of, yeah, I probably wouldn't react all giddy at the point of, well, I'm also not trans, so that might affect things. But yeah, it just feels more natural, is what I'm saying. I like the characters, the dialogue.
Yeah, in my mind,
Go ahead.
Yeah, in my mind, if you're trans and you don't know it yet, there's still a process of discovering that, right?
Yeah.
If you already knew and you already accepted that and that stuff and it happened, I think every single trans person who ever played the game would be like, yay! And I know Blanky on the on my Discord and whatnot mentioned with regards to the game, because someone said, like, I haven't played it yet, so I'll watch your streams after I play the game and whatnot. She said it gives good trans feels, which means, yes, I think you hit the mark on the trans stuff for that.
Anything else? I feel I said my piece.
Should I move over so we can do the thing we discussed to do afterwards? Because I have to switch computers for that, technically.
Sure. We can do that.
Okay.
I'll be time.
If you wrap up this section, I will move over. It probably will take me a few minutes to switch over properly. So give me a sec.
Okay. Just tell me when you're ready, and then I'll close the game up. And he's gone. Chat, time to criticize 6.
No.
What are interesting releases coming out on early January or February? Atelier is coming out all the way until March. So I wonder what's before that. Because I'm probably gonna finish Free Fantasia way before anything else. I might give Satisfactory another try. Game releases January. Releases 2025. Let's see if there's a list. 2025 in games. That's a lot. Anything I'm interested in? Oh, I can also play Fate. Whatever samurai thingy. Oh my, there's nothing coming out of January. Nothing I'm interested in, anyway. Oh, Civilization 7 coming out in February. At least that's something. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Do I sound weird in any way?
No. Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay,
Early Day Collection. What is that? You tell me when you're ready.
I don't. The only thing I don't have is push to talk, so sorry if I cough. Beyond that, I think I just need to do this. Yeah, it's showing my quote-unquote webcam, so it's flipping the picture in Discord, but that's just something I'm gonna have to live with.
Okay, let me close up the game. And then I can put this here. Full window. And then I can... There we go. Make this full window. Oh, I can actually pop it out for even better thing. And then I can window capture. Is this it one? No. Is this one? No. I don't have to full screen, right? And I need that so I can hear you. I think I'm gonna have to full screen. Where's full image? Display capture? I think it's this one. Let me close this and go here. Okay, people can see you. And your T-Rex thingy. You're muted, by the way.
Yeah, I have to manually mute myself at the moment if I want to cough or something. Yeah, my little T-Rex thingy eating a Pikachu.
How kind.
It's funny. So, one thing Icarue and I discussed, and I did something similar over on my server, was sort of like a Pokemon pack sort of PFP avatar bet concept, where we would select packs, and whoever gets like the best of the hits in the packs would then get to choose the other one's avatar on Icarue's server here.
Yes, only on my server.
Yeah, because that's a little risky if you do something funny.
Oh, you might be a little bit careful with the reflection of your cards on your face.
Does it seem like it's doing that? Because it seemed like it was reflecting out.
It reflected your hand. I can see your elbow, I think. The thing that connects your torso with your arm is elbow, right?
Yeah, I can just turn it a little bit more.
Yeah, that works. So how do you want to do this? How many rounds? Is it one round or?
So I have 10. We could do best of 5.
Sure,
where
that's
we
an
each pick one,
odd number.
and whoever wins the round. So we can start with, you can pick one first. I have 2 packs of 5 different sets within Pokemon. Each of them has a different Pokemon on them, so you can sort of decide via that. Gyarados. Starters: Gyarados, Dragonite, Charizard, Ursaluna, Ogerpon, Lapras, Terapagos, Garchomp, Roaring Moon.
What's the one in the southern right corner?
Oh, it's mirrored, FYI. This one?
The other one.
That is Roaring Moon, which is the Paradox version of Salamence.
I'm just gonna say Paradox Salamence. Hi,
Do you want it?
So, oh, you mentioned that they are. Oh, interesting.
Oh, I'm
the
noticing
wing
that
covers out the
It's
title.
mirrored for me. So wait, it's mirrored for me, but not for you. I just noticed that.
I mean, I can read.
Oh, you mean the model. Do you want it? Yes or no?
Sure.
Round 1.
Sure, round 1.
Okay.
Should I get out paper? Yeah.
Oh no. Being painful. What do you need paper for?
I was gonna say write things down. Like how many rounds?
That's
Where
or
is
you
mine?
can do it like in the chat for the stream or something like that. Okay. Ready to go?
Let me fetch. Sure, pen is fine. So 6 and Ika. Sure.
Okay. So, these are all Scarlet Violet packs, which means the only chance for like a hit would be in the last 3 cards.
Isn't that a... Wait, how many cards are in a deck? In a pack?
10 plus an energy, I think.
Oh.
Okay. So this is the first reverse hollow. It's a reverse hollow common. That is a reverse hollow uncommon. And an EX. That is a double rare. That's actually a hit.
Okay, so how do we tally the points?
So I guess the rarest card in this one was a double rare.
Okay.
So I need to beat that. And if I also get a double rare, then we'll go by like the actual value of the card on like websites that track that.
I haven't done this until my Magic days.
Have you done something like this before?
Not something like this, but like worry about the worth of a card.
Right. Yeah, no, like it doesn't really matter because most of them are like worth 10 cents. But when you get into the rare ones, you'll get up into like $1, and the super rare ones might get into like $5, $10, $20, or if you get into like the most high cost card that I've opened from a pack is this one.
Arceus.
This Arceus card. Yeah, it's worth $70, $80 raw.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I've spent more than $70, $80 on Pokemon packs at this point. There's much more money. There's way more money in the actual packs than there are in the cards.
The weird thing about Magic...
So I'll pick it.
Go ahead.
I'll pick it via a dice roll. 3.
The weirdest thing about Magic is that the most expensive cards are lands.
That's the thing that I heard, that in Magic, the rare cards are actually quite useful to use. So they get used and they don't stay in good condition, so they're not the most expensive cards.
Well, they have the most value.
Like the most value, that sort of stuff. So or they get a lot of value because they're used, and there's not a lot that are actually in good condition and that sort of stuff.
I forgot Olive have
But
middle evolution.
yeah, yeah. While in Pokemon, all those super rare cards have like less rare versions of them, so you can use those in battle instead. That is a uncommon reverse hollow, common reverse hollow,
What is a
and basic hollow ends. So you win round 1.
Yay. 1 tally.
Shiketsu, I owned a signed $500 Weiss Sports card. Other than that, my cards are pretty worthless. I don't know what a Weiss Sports is.
Is that
I'm not
within
really into
Pokemon?
TCG, but
or...
I like Pokemon. That doesn't sound like a Pokemon thing. I assume that's Magic?
Oh, no, that's its own card. They're anime cards. I kind of want to play it.
What?
Weiss Swords.
Oh, it's its own TCG. Okay.
It's its own TCG, yeah. And like each deck's centered around like this anime, so like you have Sword Art Online or things like that.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's the thing I heard, and I don't know how common it is in TCGs, that Pokemon does well, is that they have just like rare, prettier versions of cards that are meant for collectors, while they have the like less rare versions of them that are actually used in the practical playing of the game. Which one do you want next, Icarue?
Let's do the turtle, the multicolored turtle.
Terrapagos.
That one. I did not play the DLC of either.
I haven't either. I need to.
Of either game.
It looks like it's pretty good, especially because one of them apparently takes place in Unova, the Gen 5 region.
And I think one of them takes place in Johto, I think, as well.
Yeah, that I don't know. I only heard that there's like one that takes place at it's like a visit to a different academy that is based in Unova. That's the only thing I know. Okay, a common reverse hollow.
Lechonk.
A common reverse hollow.
Pierdetuga.
And a basic rare. So that is about as low. So probably the most, because these are guaranteed, and I guess a common reverse hollow is technically guaranteed. So if I get an uncommon reverse hollow, I would win that.
Got it. Yeah, it looked pretty.
Which, that was about as low of a hit as you can get on a on a pack, basically.
Wait, how much is the Cassiopeia card that you have in your folder?
Oh, this is like this one here.
Yeah.
It's the special illustration rare one. I think it's worth like, this one's worth like $50. All of these are worth like, these are like my high worth ones that I put out on display.
Got it.
So I rolled a 2. I guess I'm doing both Obsidian Flame packs.
The Charizard pack was calling to me. So
yeah, but that's also the guarantee that there's nothing going to be nothing in it.
But the energy, the aura. Barbuch.
I also really like the art. I also really like the art on the cards. I think they do a really good job for a lot of the art. Okay.
I noticed that a lot of them are illustrated.
Oh yeah. Every single one of them has an illustration.
Back in my days, they started using like 3D sort of like clay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's some that's like that, or like a 3D model and stuff like that. I don't like those as much, but most of them are proper illustration. So this is an uncommon reverse hollow. So technically, I've already won this round.
Yay.
Common reverse hollow and a basic hollow. So that was about as low of a stakes round as you can get, but technically that one is
You won.
mine to take.
I'll tally up. How do you know if it's uncommon or common?
There's a little icon in the corner. Circle. It's a circle for a common, a diamond for an uncommon, a star for a rare, 2 stars for a double rare, a silver star for an ultra rare, a gold star for an illustration rare, 2 gold stars for a special illustration rare, which is what this Cassiopeia is, which is basically like a hyper rare version of it. And then 3 gold stars for a hyper rare, which is a gold card, where they make it like all gold and fancy and stuff like that.
I think I'll go for Ogerpon. Ogerpon?
Ogerpon. Okay. You're going for the DLC legendaries, aren't you?
I'm going for... I'll tell you my strategy after.
Interesting. Okay. We'll see if it works, because so far it's been 50%. Reverse hollow common. Reverse hollow uncommon. And a basic hollow. Okay. So that's reverse hollow uncommon is the one to beat. I'll set aside the reverse hollow uncommon in case I have to look up its rarity
value.
or its worth. Yeah.
REX is generally like rares.
Sorry?
REXs
are typically
or
double rare.
Bs. Oh, you just leave it already?
EX, so this would be a... Yeah, I just have that off to the side. I sleeve any hits that are like actually a hit. So I got 5. Taking Garchomp.
That's the weirdest way to show rarity I ever encountered in a TCG. I've seen worse.
Like a little icon?
I think so.
How's that weird?
Like MTG does the same thing.
I have no I don't play TCGs. So this is like the first rarity that I've come to like learn rarity system. So I don't know if it's weird or not or anything like that.
The thing is, I don't know if like Magic has it, but Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't. I think.
Common reverse hollow.
That's a rare hollow.
Rare reverse hollow. Yeah, so that does win on that technically. And oh, that's a cool Steelix. But that's a basic hollow at the end, so yeah.
So
technically that wins it. And I've gotten so little hits. We are 6 packs in, and I've gotten 1 real hit.
What's the difference between a hollow and a reverse hollow?
So a reverse hollow has hollow, like, outside of the illustration. So it has this, like, texture here that's, like, holographic. While the hollow has the illustration and the borders holographic. These are guaranteed at the end of the pack. 2 reverse hollows are also guaranteed, but they can be, both of them could be replaced with a higher rarity card. Technically, a rare reverse hollow is actually pretty, like, they tend to be worth more than their hollow counterparts.
What is?
because it's harder to get a rare card in the reverse holo slot than it is.
Oh, so
Sorry.
you always get a reverse holo and a holo.
You always get 2 reverse holos, but they're not guaranteed to be a rare. They're typically almost always a common or an uncommon. And the slots for the 2 reverse holos, and typically the second reverse holo, could be upgraded to like an illustration rare or something like that, while the last holo slot could be upgraded to like a double rare or a secret rare or something else like that.
Can I go for the starter pack? The one to the
Okay.
Yeah, that one. Have you tried the live service? The one that's being announced on all the cards.
Nope. Because I think that requires me to want to play the game.
I just collect the cards.
Yeah, no, I like the art. The thing that got me interested was the art, by and far. Sorry, Shiketsu, you said, I mean, you can't just use C, UCR, and so on. So in Japanese, they actually have, like, they actually do that. C, UC, rare, art rare, and they use the letters in the Japanese ones. So this is unique to the English one. And I actually like it because I think it's just more, like, artistic. An uncommon reverse holo. That is
Another uncommon reverse
uncommon
holo.
reverse. Yeah, and a rare trainer, which actually is a bit of a hit, I think. I actually don't know if these are technically more common than any other holo, but they seem more valuable. I think they're rare.
I only
Thought
care
so,
about
that-
the rarity and value. I only care about winning.
Well, at a point, I said I want to make a Pokedex out of it, so that matters to me. But once you get the Pokedex done, like, what do you do after that, right?
You complete the game and wait for Nintendo to release another one.
Next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, this is really, really bad in terms of my normal hit rate. I've done like statistical sort of like tracking of me opening packs and whatnot, and what do I get. My typical hit rate is like 4 out of every 10 or so. And for like at least for like double rare or above, for like rare cards, I typically get like 30% or so. So this is like significantly worse than basically almost every other unpacking I've done. Which is sort of funny, because when I did this for my server, that also was like significantly less.
Oh, right, there are stadiums, right? Wait, what kind of rarity is Reshiram?
It depends on the set. In this case, it's an uncommon,
Huh.
and Jirachi is probably the same. But like, it varies from set to set, basically. Like, if they've been a legendary for a while, they'll occasionally just put them in as just like an uncommon card. So that's Tiplin, that's a common reverse holo, uncommon reverse holo,
and
a basic, a basic holo. Oh my goodness, this is just
so it's
the
a win for
worst
me.
luck I've ever had with. Yeah, that's a win for you. I'll give you the win.
Yeah.
Because the trainer is more valuable. The trainer rare is more valuable than the Pokemon rare in that slot.
So.
Wow, this has just been about as bad as they get. So
Very
that actually
sad.
puts us 2-2. So
I just called this.
This
We're
legitimately
tied.
Yeah, this is legitimately coming down to the wire. Okay. So
I'll go for Ursaluna.
Gyarados and Ursaluna. Okay.
I mean, hopefully the last two are hits and we have to search the value, so at least, like, you have 2 hits.
There's like. Well, if they're 2 hits, chances are they're going to be different different rarities. Okay. Common reverse hollow and common reverse hollow.
Reverse hollow.
And another freak. How is the luck this bad?
What is it, rare?
That is actually impressive.
Or is it normal common?
Yeah, they're all rare. All of the hollows are rare.
Oh.
So you're guaranteed a rare card that's hollow at the end of every pack. For the Scarlet Violet packs, at least. Because they changed the rarity going from Sword Shield to Scarlet Violet. Because it used to be just a rare card at the end, and then if it was hollow, then it was a minor hit. But now it's always hollow at the end.
Got it.
So because it's guaranteed, it's not really... Yeah.
You tell me if I win or not.
It's actually way rare.
I have no idea what the highest possibly rarity you can get in Pokemon is.
Hyper rare, which is the 3 gold star one.
Mm.
Or secret rare, which is like just the normal rarity symbol, but it's like the set count number is technically above. I've got a few secret rare cards. I actually do think I have like weirdly good luck in like the Pokemon stuff.
So I just came by and sought the and sought your luck.
I mean, 10 packs isn't gonna like end me in terms of like the statistics. I'm gonna put this into my statistical tracking for luck, because that interests me in a lot of ways. Sort of like tracking it in a very in-depth way.
You're financially ruined.
Actually, just to remember, that was 2 reverse hollow commons, so that's a pretty low bar in terms of winning again. So that's a reverse hollow common. That's a reverse hollow common.
Low bar.
That's an EX. Hey, double rare.
So that means you win.
Yes, that does technically mean I win. Physical gacha luck tracker. Yes, indeed. I do like actually having the cards, though. One of the reasons I particularly don't care for gachas is because it's digital.
Yeah, once I stop playing Pokemon Pocket and erase it from my phone, I won't have anything. Whereas you at least have your EX cards.
Or do they keep track of it? So, the other rare card that I have up here is he's actually from the same set.
What is that? A Palkia B Rising? B Star?
Palkia Origin. B Star, yeah. It's the Origin form from Legends Arceus.
You played Arceus, right? Like Legends Arceus?
Huh? Yeah, I played. Yeah, I played that.
What do you think of the Origin forms of Palkia and Dialga?
Palkia looks sort of weird.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I will say, I mean, I think Dialga looks better than the Palkia one. The Palkia one looks like it's trying to be a centaur, and yeah.
But Dialga has like the strange neck thingy.
Yeah, but it still sort of looks like Dialga if it was from a long time ago, potentially. Palkia looks like it's just sort of an entirely different creature with Palkia's head put on top.
What was your... Did you play Pearl back when Diamond came out?
So I've played every generation as they've come out, actually. Outside of, I guess, the first generation, which I was a little late to, having been a very small child until I could start playing video games.
But what was your... Go ahead.
I've kept up with all the... So the ones that I did, because I had a sibling, so we were always... You get one, I get the other. If I was to go generation by generation, I had blue, gold, sapphire, diamond. I don't remember black or white. I think it was black. Um, was it Y or X or Y? I want to say it was X on the basis of I like blue. And then I think I also got Moon, and then Sword, and then Violet. I tend to get the more like
the more
bluish
blue
color one.
Yeah, I also
I
went
tend
blue.
to get the bluish color one.
So for me, it was yellow, silver, sapphire, diamond, black, moon, sword, violet.
Nice.
I
sort of wish I got the Scarlet on the basis of, while I like the futuristic concept better, I sort of like the paradox, like past ones better.
I thought the future versus past was gonna play a bigger role than it did.
Rather than just being the variant for each.
Yeah, like maybe we go to like the future or the past or whatever instead of just like, hey, this things came from the hole. Good luck. Shuketsu started with Pearl. I also have a friend that started with Pearl as well. Pearl Diamond.
Yeah, I started with. I'm trying to remember, like, because by the time the PS2 came out, I was like 6 or 7 or so. So I was like just barely old enough to really start grasping onto playing games and stuff like that. But I remember a long period of time that I had a PS1. I remember the time that I had a Game Boy Color and all that sort of stuff. So I think technically I was like behind the curve for the first few years, and then I started to catch up and I played games, and then I was on the precipice by the time the PS3 came out of like on the consoles and whatnot growing up. And in terms of like Pokemon, I remember when there was like the phase in like middle school and whatnot where it was like super, oh, you play Pokemon? And then in high school, by that point, everyone was just like, oh yeah, no, I still play Pokemon. I never stopped. Hey, you want to go? We're done with class. You want to go play Pokemon in the back of the classroom? It's like, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
I remember high school classes where we just finished up early, so we went like for the last 10 minutes and played Pokemon as a group.
I remember the only time that happened was with Pokemon Go. But in where I grew up. Sorry, what?
I think I was in college by that point. I think I was in college by Pokemon Go's time. Actually, how long ago was Pokemon Go?
2014?
2016. I would have been in my senior year of college, maybe, give or take. It was in the summer, so it would have been between years.
...2016.
Nearly
I was in
a
the middle of college.
That's actually close. It's closer. It is closer to a decade ago than it's not. I'll say that right now.
I mean, that's not a high bar. Like, as long as 5 years have passed.
I mean, time just flies. I guess that's part of it.
Yeah. Like, in 2021, it was closer to a decade that is not. Pokemon Go started a class war in my school, and the teachers were on it, says Shuketsu.
A class war? Ooh. Like economic class or like school class?
The whales versus the not whales.
That's the modern terminology for like the proletariat and the bourgeoisie.
Whales.
The whales. On the gacha sort of like comparison, I will say another nice thing about the Pokemon stuff is like it's fun opening packs and whatnot, and it's expensive opening packs and whatnot, but it is nice that I can go and like, this is really cool art of like Wiglet. Unless it's like a particularly sought after card, it's not expensive. This is $2, $4 to just like get a cool card for your collection. Spend that every once in a while. Pick up something from the local card shop.
Did you put a
were
price
you,
tag on
clicked
the
off?
Wiglet?
Were you clicked off? This is these are the sleeves that they had in shop. I haven't taken them off yet.
Oh. Oh.
So yeah,
It's not the Wiglet we just
$2.
unlocked. Open.
We didn't open a Wiglet.
We did. We opened the common Wiglet.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's a Wiglet in there somewhere. I've seen some really cool art of various Pokemon. Wiglet has like a Van Gogh style crazy one on one of the art. I made sure to set that aside for the Pokedex thing I want to do.
Van Gogh or the Lee?
But that's sort of the nice thing about these is like outside of some cards, like some of those high value ones over there, they're not worth that much. You're not making money off of getting cool rare cards. If you're opening packs for cool rare cards, you're doing it because you find it fun.
Yeah, and the what you call it? And like I don't think they're that useful, and the art's really cool. That it's like full. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Some others that I bought recently and I need to actually
Corby Knight.
like put in a top loader to keep it safe. None of these are worth that much.
That art makes me wonder how much does the Gigantamax? What do you call it?
Gigantamax. Yeah?
Gigantamax last. Like, can you use for transportation? Yes.
This absolutely would not make sense because if I remember correctly, Gigantamax was based on a power source in the localized area.
Right.
So presumably, no matter how long it would last, you'd be moving away from the power source that is maintaining it.
So weird that the Pokemon world has such distinct power sources all around the world, isn't it?
Well, they only have done Gigantamax in the one region at this point, and it's caused by a local thing that happened, so...
Yeah,
there
but
is
crystallization
some logic to it.
Crystallization only happens in Paldea.
The source of it is. I assume when you go over to like Unova in the DLC, they let you do it still.
That is a question.
Gets said, I'm not buying $1,000 worth of displays to get this 200 card, but if I buy a $10 pack and I get it, I'm happy.
Fair.
Displays. What is displays referring to?
I guess $1,000 worth of booster packs.
I guess so, yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. If you like take one pack and you get a really cool one, and it's like worth a lot, that's like ridiculously lucky, and it will pull you into the gambling to want. I can do another. I can get another. I can get another. I can't.
Yeah.
Double or nothing.
It takes some use to it to just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy the singles and make a single deck with it.
I think that's sort of where I've gotten. I've spent probably my yearly annual impulse purchase on packs. So at this point, I think I'm basically mostly done with packs outside of maybe just some fun with new ones that come out, just as they come out. And then outside of that, it's mainly just going to be buying singles and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
as the opportunity arises, or like I go, or maybe like I go once a week to my local card store and I pick up a couple packs and pick up a cool single while I'm at it.
And if you think about it, like
these two
for art
like
purposes,
these two were when I like these two I picked up when I bought those packs that I had.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like I bought the packs and bought some singles that I thought were cool, and then moved on.
For art purposes, it's really cheap. Like usually, like, well, I'm not gonna say I buy like micro paintings, but like a piece of art usually works like at least 30-50 bucks.
I mean, that's cheap, right?
And that's cheap.
Now imagine, well, it's the scale of it, right? So take this, $4 times 50,000 of them, $200,000 worth of money on that art, right?
Yep. I mean, the art is probably like hopefully properly
the art-
compensated.
Yeah, they credit the artists on the cards too, which is nice.
Yeah, but hopefully they're
I also
also
like that.
compensated. It's not like,
for
oh,
sure.
hey,
There's like a
make us like this image for 300 bucks, and we're gonna make like
no,
5 million out of that.
I sure hope not. I think the Pokemon Company better have higher standards than that.
Better.
Because if they don't, then sort of screw them at that point.
Yeah, kind of sad.
With that in mind, what's I gonna say? I was gonna say a thing. Oh, there's like a video that there was. I don't think it was Pokemon, but it was like someone related to the TCG sort of creative stuff they made about the process, and I thought that was pretty interesting as a video to watch.
Oh, nice.
Too, of the process of like working with illustrators to make the card art specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And like the revision process, and so much of it just felt, oh, that feels very similar to us commissioning art from people.
It probably is, yes.
It's a very similar process. I assume a lot of the illustrators are freelance, basically,
Most probably.
which is honestly good because there's some really good art. So I'm happy they get such a variety of styles too.
Yeah, the Skarmory is pretty neat.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing that got me interested.
That damn painting.
The Squirtle's pretty popular too.
It cute.
Yep. Pidgeys. I like how when they put them like in the real world in the illustrations, and it makes the world just feel so much more alive.
Yeah. That's
This
something
one
that...
is the Mew that I got.
Go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was gonna move on to another thing. What were you gonna say?
I feel that's something that Pokemon games, especially mainline Pokemon, don't get that much. Like Pokemon in their natural habitat.
Yeah, you don't get a lot in the games, and there's some really interesting stuff in the art that they can sort of capture via that.
That's why I really like...
Shiketsu said a display is the. Shiketsu said a display is the box that the packs are in. Okay. In Pokemon, I think they call those booster boxes or cases typically.
I think in Magic as well.
Yay, nomenclature variation. It also might just vary from region to region.
Yeah.
Different, depending on where you live and
Circle
that
to
sort of
circle.
stuff for language. But yeah, this is the Mew that I got as a child that I thought was just the coolest thing ever because it's Japanese. I said it was fossilized, and more recently I've discovered that's just a set. That's just a set in Pokemon. Apparently, it's not like a special trait of it. So it's from the fossil set, and it's holographic, and it's Japanese. And I could have sworn I got this out of a booster pack that was not a Japanese pack. And for some reason, as a child, I was under the impression that being fossilized was like a special trait that made them rarer and cooler. I don't know why I thought that.
I mean, it's probably rare.
Oh, for sure. It's worth $20 just as is. If I got it graded and it was in perfect mint condition, it's not, even though I've actually taken pretty good care of it because I've always thought of it as so rare. It would be worth like $500.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I have another one that's like a shadowless Mewtwo, which is that's probably the most purely high worth one if it was in perfect condition. That one would be worth like $3,000 if it was in perfect condition.
I mean, it still sounds like the Mew is worth
Shadowless-
more.
Like currently, I think because there's the ungraded prices. You know what I mean when I say graded, right?
Yep.
Okay. For anyone watching, graded is where you send it in and you pay them to basically put a quality mark on it for what condition it is in. And if it was in perfect condition, the Mewtwo would be worth like $3,000. The Mew in perfect condition is like $500.
Oh, you said 300 for the Mewtwo.
Did I? I meant
Yeah.
like 3,000.
Oh, nice. Then yes, that is expensive.
Yeah, no, it is. I think one of the two rarest, one of the 2 or 3 highest potential value cards. Specifically because it's the shadowless version, which is like a singular print that they did one time, that doesn't have sort of like a. You can sort of see there's like a little shadow on the side of the art box. They had a print where they just missed doing that, and it's like a misprint for an entire printing.
Oh.
So those are rare in the same way first editions would be.
Got
So the
it.
first edition is worth probably more, but after that, the shadowless version is probably the next most worthwhile version of that card. And Mewtwo and Charizard are the most valuable. The other thing that I have that's pretty rare and valuable from back then is there's the base set Pikachu cards. And there's a weird variation, I don't have it sitting here, where normally in the art the Pikachu cheeks are yellow because it's like doing electricity, but I have one where the cheeks are red, and while the first edition one is worth like 10 times as much, I have the version of that and it's worth in a similar range as the Mew, just because it's like a unique misprint.
People under misprints.
Yeah, that makes it rare. People who really want to like collect all versions of this specific car or this specific Pokemon, they got to get all those variations, all the like known misprints and that sort of stuff.
What if there's an unknown misprint?
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Imagine some
I
guy.
think that's probably.
Sure, go ahead.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, imagine some guy opening a thing. He's like, "Oh, cool! I got this card," and then he puts it on his deck, and then goes to like a tournament, and then people are like, "Bro, you know that this card's like worth $5,000 or something?" Like, huh?
And just by using it once in one duel, one card game, it's gone down in value about $2,000.
Hey, it's still worth $2,000-$3,000.
Yeah, yeah. And every time you crumple it up a little bit because your hands are shaking because this thing's worth $3,000.
And then you shuffle it,
That's
but
another
you don't normal shuffle it.
Yeah.
You like
Yeah. No, it's like
do the
it's in a
casino
deck
thing
and
shuffle.
It's like it's in a non-sleeve deck and stuff like that.
Oh, have you shuffled sleep decks versus non-sleep decks?
I was never good at shuffling in the first place.
Sleeves make such a difference.
When I was a kid and I did try to play Yu-Gi-Oh back then, I do remember trying to doing a very haphazard shuffle of cards, whether in sleeves or not. It was a long time ago though.
Same.
Well, I was just saying that's probably
a good place to call it.
To end this on.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of updates and stuff for everyone, I could probably stop sharing.
A big pink screen. Salmon.
So in terms of
updates.
In terms of updates for everything, on my front, Oathbreaker's coming along. Like both that and Between are sort of in their quote-unquote final stretches of there's still like a decent chunk to do on each of them for Between and Oathbreaker, but it's like the finish line is in sight sort of thing. So both of them have that, so both of them are going to get in the way of the other one getting done. So that's sort of where I am. I don't know precisely when stuff will come out. I'm sort of at that point where you can see the finish line, but it's not quite at the point that you know how long it's going to take you to actually get those sections done.
Right.
So hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. I've been sort of hitting writer's block a little bit throughout this month, so things have been going a bit of a crawl for most of the things I've worked on.
Got it. No pressure. It happens. I mean, in my case, like, lack of sunlight usually, like, makes me less motivated.
For me, it's honestly not in small part due to Pokemon cards. I have a very binging personality, and if my focus and just like interest, what draws my interest is just like, oh, it's not game development nearly as much as normal, then I won't be able to focus in on the game dev stuff nearly as much, and I'll be slightly distracted by the Pokemon card thing.
That's what happened.
I'm starting to feel like that. I am starting to feel like the binging elements of my personality on that is winding down a bit. So I think I'm in a better place.
What happened
going forward?
That's what happened with me with Satisfactory. I played it and I wanted to keep playing it, and I was like, "Oh, I have like 1 hour left until I need to leave or something." Like, I can squeeze in an hour of Satisfactory
instead of 1 hour of working on your game. That's
correct,
sort of thing, right?
Or drawing or something. Yep.
Yeah, it adds up, right? Because so much of my work on my game is a hobby, and I get so much done simply because it is my main hobby, and it's usually the thing that pulls me away from other stuff. So, when something else gets in the way, that can be very detrimental to my productivity.
And for me, update-wise, I hope I can deliver something on the 25th or around that date. I now notice that I have 5 days for that, so yay.
You also released a public release of Merchant Mode a couple days ago.
I did?
Yep.
Ripples. I have that. I'm totally professional on top of all the things I have. So Merchant Mode, I think was like the 15th, right?
I think that was around when I told you about that setting in Patreon. I think that was the thing that triggered me noticing it.
So there's that. There's Merchant Mode. And then there's OU coming out on the 25th-ish. The 1.0 release of Orchard University is coming out on the 25th. And then probably something new for patrons on the 25th. Probably. Maybe.
Ooh. I don't even know what this might be.
I kind of want to...
Because I know a few...
Go ahead.
I know of a few of the things you're working on, but I don't know what you've been working on enough to have a release coming up for.
The ironic thing is, the next release would be better to release on Christmas.
That's the 25th, right?
Yes. Like,
you don't want to like run in.
There's an ice
you don't want the
chunk
public release
for that game, but I'm not gonna release the ice chunk part.
The ice chunk or a nice chunk?
An ice chunk, ice part, ice section.
Okay.
I needed to set up some things to get to the ice section, but maybe I can release it in winter. Winter's long. Winter hasn't even started yet.
It is. You could make that a New Year's release. It would be just as appropriate.
It's not. I don't think I can finish in 5 days.
Oh, okay. Well, I think. Well, that's not 5 days. That's 11 days.
Yeah, but one release for the 25th, and then another one for the 1st.
Well, the 25th is a public release of something that's already been released, right?
No, it would be a Patreon release. So
the thing on the 26th is the thing on the Christmas is Orchard, right?
correct. But I plan to have another release for the Patreons for another game on the 25th.
And then another game that has an ice related thing?
No. Like, there will be another future release on this game that has an ice section in it. That I wanted to release right now.
So you have a release number 1, and then you have another release that involves ice sections.
Correct.
Okay, then yeah, you basically have to the end of February to get out an ice thing for it to be on theme.
Happy Some Valentine's. Did you know that Some Valentine's is on winter? You know now. Shove ice section.
It is. Usually some of the coldest times of year here are in February. Shuketsu said, I can't judge you on how much time you spend on development. Considering most of my game ideas die as work documents. I mean, that's the same for us, to be honest.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I like this idea.
Stay as ideas.
This idea is bad. Burn it to the pile.
Or just, I don't have time to work on this idea. By the time you have time to work on another idea, you've had another 5 ideas.
Yep. And then when you have time to pick one idea, you pick the best 5. The best out of the 5. And then by the time you finish it, you have another 10.
You will pick the best 5, though.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
But oh well, good time to call it a stream.
Yep.
Six, think on what profile picture you want to put me in.
Do you have any requests?
No.
In any form, theme, explicitity.
Probably something I can at least show on Twitch.
That's a good point. You only have to keep it for a week, though. If you want to keep it for longer, that's fine.
And we're not streaming next week, right?
Yeah, we wouldn't be going next week. But you would be posting your Christmas update with this avatar.
Okay, as long as it's not super obscene or can I restrict it to females?
Sorry?
Can I restrict it to female avatars? Or no?
Oh. I mean, I hadn't even really thought about it to that level. But if you want me to give you an explicit, like, I don't think I'm allowed to say it on Twitch. Down low shot. If you want me to give that to you, then sure, I can do that. If you're requesting it.
Let's talk offline.
Yeah, we had something we wanted to discuss after this anyways, so
yeah. Well,
let's do that.
Gonna cut the stream then. Any last words?
No.
Enjoy
Have
recursion.
A good one, everyone. Drive safely.
See y'all. Yeah, look at the stream.
Safely, everyone.
It's recursive.
Oh, that. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Drive safely, everyone.